Alright guys, I hope you're all doing well. Today is December the 2nd and it's an anniversary for me and this beast. It's a 1995 BMW E36 320i, and this is not my first car. My first car, it was VW Polo from 2019, year of production, and I had it for almost 10 months until I bought this beast. Why did I change from a brand new car which had good safety, good fuel economy, had amazing audio system? This car has no audio system at all. I absolutely love 90s cars. I love this era and everything there in general. Plus, when I was driving Polo, I didn't enjoy it. It felt numb. It didn't feel like it had character. Furthermore, this is not even my dream car. It wasn't my dream car. When I was 13, I fell in love with S13 180SX chassis. But when I fell asleep in December 31st of 2013 and woke up in January 2014, the prices risen 3 times. Before they cost 3,000, now they cost 10,000 euros to get a good one. And for me, I always wanted a cheap drift car that's also my daily. Next option was BMW E36. Why? Because it has balanced chassis, it's a lightweight chassis, it's the same weight as S13. Plus, it has bulletproof inline-6 engines. In this case, it's a 2.0, and even a 2.0 makes 10 horsepower more than SR20DE. And today, we're gonna discuss about how 1 year of ownership of E36 went and what kind of problems and upgrades I did to it to make it a perfect beginner drift car. I have everything written down. I bought it with 900 euros. 900 euros, it's 10 times less than S13. But it was leaking oil from everywhere. It had blown shocks at the back. The body paint, it chipped almost everywhere. It has 2 dents on the doors. The front left door never opened. Like, you have to open it from inside. You cannot open it from outside. And when I bought it, in less than a week, I went to the truck to drift it. Blown shocks, stock engine, stock suspension. Nothing done to the car, just let's go. It's still leaking everything. Just went on the truck and had a lot of fun. First time drifting. Didn't manage to do it well, but was a practice run. Original plan was to put 2.5 motor in it, but that went left. It had MOT for another 2 weeks, but with blown shocks, there's no way you can pass MOT. What happened next? I had to order a BC TA Technique suspension and install it in February. As soon as I passed MOT, paid road tax, paid insurance and got everything all right with papers, I started driving it as a daily. Yeah, I'm crazy. I went from a perfectly good car, which is perfect in the city, to a 90s shitbox. Well, I like it more. So for a while, I've been driving this car as my daily and had no problems, just enjoyed it. I went to Limassol, had some fun with friends and bought 16-inch rims. Idea was to have 16-inch rims to drive every day and to have the 15-inch steelies for drift. But the plan went south. What happened is, because of bad wheel alignment, my tires got destroyed, so I had to drive the car on steelies for another half a year. But that didn't bother me. I was just learning the car, having fun with it, driving and enjoying my time with it. During this time, I also painted the plastic on the car black, because before they were faded gray and it looked disgusting. So I just painted them black because I had leftovers black spray paint. Then COVID happened and there was nothing to do. Like, I was playing PlayStation and at some point I really got bored of PlayStation. It pissed me off to have it. So I decided to sell the PlayStation, and when I sold it, I found those Style 66 rims for only 80 euros. Well, it's a bargain, I believed. But when I got them, I found out that they're in pretty bad shape, which I didn't fix, and they are not original Style 66 rims, which cost fortune to get. These were replicas, which are the same size all around. But still, they're 17-inch rims and they still look great on E36. And also, during the lockdown, I decided to black out the headlights. In Cyprus, there's a lot of sun and all the plastic gets faded. I took out the glass, which gave me a lot of pain. And it didn't happen for the first try, but the first headlight with the little chips of glass, I managed to take it apart and paint it. Second one, I was really excited that I managed to do it. I put the oven on. I put the oven on and melt the plastic inside. Yes, I melted it. So during the lockdown, I was driving only with one headlight, without the glass on. And after the COVID, me and Christos, we put the glass with the silicone on, and I went to Limassol. There, my friend gave me another headlight cover with the cracked lens, which I actually really enjoy. And I put it on, I've been driving like that since June. Also, during that time in Limassol, after lockdown, I welded the diff. I actually didn't weld it, I bought another diff from 318 automatic E36. We welded it, and right now I'm going 120 kilometers an hour with 4,500 RPM. For drifting, it's a lot more easier. There's shorter gear ratios, and I was able to have a lot more fun even driving on the street, because you have to change all the time. You're going in the city on the fifth gear, and to get there you have to change, and that was a lot of fun for me. I was excited. And also during the summer, the main problem started to occur, because when I got it and before MOT, we serviced the engine, like spark plugs, oil, fixed the valve cover, gasket leak. The car was serviced and it should have not had problems. But as many BMW owners know, when there's 260 to 50,000 kilometers, all the cooling system goes wrong. A month of summer of me having fun, my water pump was gone. What happened is I go to the traffic lights, to right you go to the shop, and I see my temperature gauge going up, and I'm like, oh no, what do I do? And coincidentally, my mechanic, Christos, was to the left of traffic lights. So I went left, parked the car, went home, took the Polo, I still had the Polo by this time, and drove it to the shop. The car stayed for 2 weeks without movement. Changed the water pump, changed the thermostat because we were there, and drove it for another month. So I was living and working in Limassol. And before the work, we decided to go, me and Nikita, we decided to go to the Aphrodite's Rock. It's like 60, 70 kilometers away from Limassol on a highway. So we went there, went on a curvy roads next to the seaside and stopped, relaxed. When we wanted to go further, I drive and I see my temperature gauge going more up, and I'm like, oh no, what now? And we had job in 3 hours. So I stopped the car, opened the bonnet, and there's water flashing on the road, like under the pressure. And I'm like, oh fuck. I had no money on the phone to call tow truck. I had nothing. So what we did is we put the water in my trunk in the radiator when all the water flushed out. And we managed to drive all the way to Limassol with that radiator, with the leaking water. It actually didn't leak. What happened is the pipe, one of the pipes for the radiator cracked. So if the pressure in the cooling system got more, it opened the crack and all the water was drained. But I went to the work, no leak. Went to my friend's house, leaking again. Went to the garage, opened it up. So I took out the pipes, and in order to access the pipe that cracked, I had to take out the intake. I took out the intake, and while doing that, there's another hose, vacuum hose. And when I pulled the intake out, I pulled it with a hose. It was that old that from the age it cracked, and like just by pulling it, it broke into pieces. The car stayed there for a month in Limassol. I already moved back to Nicosia, was using Polo as a daily, and the car was in Limassol for 1 month. During that time, my right front rim cracked. I changed the intake rubber thing because from the age it also cracked, so I decided to change it up. 1 month later, back on the road again, having fun, enjoying life. My radiator leaks. And at this point I'm like, well, now I changed everything. And the thing is, like every BMW owner knows that if you buy an old BMW and the radiator and all the cooling stuff wasn't changed, you have to change it. But I didn't have money to change it, so I was doing it slowly, and as soon as I save up, all it goes to the coolant system. Also, during the summer, I changed the steering wheel and the shift knob, which actually made a huge difference on the way the car felt while I was driving. And It became from being a BMW to a race car. Also, during the end of the summer, we had BMW car meet. So I decided my car is absolutely stock, there's nothing interesting in it. So me and my friend decided to do a leap. We didn't have anything, but we had just the gardening guard plastic, so we just straightened it up, made some fittings so it could hold the lip and stick it on. I was driving that, but in 1 month it was destroyed. So we went to junkyard, and the initial plan was to find Golf 3 with a stock lip. But in the junkyard, we didn't manage to find the stock lip of Golf 3 because we found only left part of the lip. Because it's two-piece, we found only left parts, but we didn't find any right parts, right side parts. And I was really bumped out by the fact that I couldn't find the lip. And I see a Cabrio Opel, and I'm like, wait, maybe it fits. I take the one piece, put it next to the Opel, and oh wow, it fits. So I'm driving with an Opel lip right now. Everything is going well until the moment when I decided to do a clutch, like you rev the engine, you drop the clutch, and I blow the axle, and then you know the whole story. I decided to make vlogs because I was like, you know what, my car breaks down, why not to film it, to remember it, and come back a few years later to see my story. What would I say? Would I do all of that again? Put cheap suspension, weld the diff? Yes, definitely. It's absolutely great fun. You cannot get it for anything cheaper. I did a little maths and I calculated. I got the car for 900 euros. And with all the rims, fixings, and the labor and all of that stuff, it cost me 1,310 euros. So my car in general costed me 2,210 euros to own it for 1 year. What can you get for this money? Miata, 1.6 Miata would cost minimum 2.5K. Lexus IS 200, also expensive car, 3,000 euros to get a decent one. And that's without tuning, that's just stock car, nothing done to it. I think I managed to make an absolute drift car that done on a budget, that I will not be scared to crash because the chassis still costs cheap. It's a 25-year-old car, it's classic, but there made so many of them that they're still cheap to buy, own and maintain because parts are dirt cheap on these cars and they're reliable. They're not like E46 full of electronic problems. They're not E30s that are really, really old. They're in this perfect sweet spot. Honestly, I cannot imagine driving another car right now. This car became part of me, and this car is part of this channel, so I hope you will follow the next steps. Further for this car is, I really enjoy the 90s JDM culture. I'm a huge fan of JDM culture, but because JDM cars are expensive, I'm driving this, and I actually love it. But the future is to make the car look like this old 90s Japanese drift cars that were drifting on the mountains. This is the goal for 2021 season. Make sure you follow the channel to see more of the Wolfie. Yes, this car name is Wolfie. Follow it on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, and I hope see you soon. We are planning to make some amazing changes and have a lot of fun with this car. Anyway guys, have a great day, have a great week, and I'll see you later. Goodbye!